always been a problem solver. I still am till this day. And for some reason, I'll never sit there and dwell on the problem. I'm just going straight to the solution. And that's where everyone's missing it. I mean, they spend too much time in that negative state, looking at the problem in a negative way, instead of just fucking seeing all the ways it's going to work.
Nice purse, chump. Welcome back to another Wes Watson video. And we have a whole lot to talk about. So this cornball has made years and years of content, and nobody has ever really covered his horrible podcast that he does. But yeah, let's get into it. So Wes Watson, he's saying, oh, I never dwell on the problem. I just go straight to the solution. You know, Wes Watson, you're a cornball for that one. You have to actually think about a problem before you address it. This guy is like trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to problem solving. He just goes on and on and on. He just says nothing. He always says nothing. He's the type of guy that does word salad. He'll throw in all these weird words, and then because his brain is really small, he gets lost in transition.
As YouTube does, it starts recommending stuff. And it says something about penitentiary life. And I was like, wait a minute, let's see what this guy's about. And it was one of these experiences where I'm watching you talk and I could see your rage and your anger, and I could see how you just want to help people and be a servant at the same time. And that was the golden thread that caught my attention. So explain to me why you're making these videos on YouTube and giving away so much, I guess, wisdom that you've gathered through the penitentiary and beyond.
Oh, you guys know that Wes Watson, he got gassed up right there. He's ready to just tell everything. I don't know anything about this podcast. Right? I really don't know a single thing about this man. And yeah, let's just keep going.
I mean, the biggest thing we could ever do for anyone, this is everybody's agenda in life, is to share what works for you on all levels and what doesn't work for you on all levels. What doesn't work is probably more beneficial to everybody. Yeah. So I'm willing to just share it all. I'm willing to be factual. I'm willing to tell, hey, I've been that bitch. I've been that fake tough guy. I've been that guy who walked down the road that he didn't want to walk down and had too big of an ego to walk back the other way like a fucking man.
Did you hear what Wes Watson called himself? Did you hear what this cornball had to say about himself? I often talk about that Wes Watson gets lost in the sauce when he's rambling on because his brain is too small, and sometimes like his inner self will come out. Did you hear what he called himself? Did you hear what this grown man called himself? A guy that always acts tough. He's always saying that he was the shot caller in prison, but maybe all right. Maybe he was the back shot caller or whatever. Like Wes Watson, like what are you talking about? The tough man shtick, the fake man shtick, that still exists. Like you're still doing it. What are you talking about? And what is this about help? What is about help? $3,000 a month.
That's an interesting statement there. So,
Daddy, chill.
Moving forward, or back, I should say, in your story, it starts off in Oceanside, California, which is suburbs of San Diego. Beautiful San Diego, my old stomping grounds before I got married and moved to Chino Hills.
That's a spot.
This is a spot, man. And you were a snowboarder, skateboarder, surfer. You know, you're touring, getting paid. And at some point, you decide you're just going to sell a little bit of weed, just enough to get yourself some weed for free. How does that all roll into a 10-year penitentiary term?
Yeah, Wes Watson. Let's see how that turned into a 10-year prison sentence where you became a violent man. Yeah, I'm real curious as to what you're going to say, you little cornball.
It started off at like 13, where I started smoking weed, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm not paying for this shit. Like, 7 grams is X amount of dollars if I buy every gram for 20 bucks. I don't have money like that, so I'm just gonna buy a quarter. I'm gonna save up, I'm gonna buy a quarter. And I'm that type of individual. Once I have a set plan, I'm sticking to it.
Even from a young kid?
Yes, from a young age. Like at 13, I was looking up my credit score. I was tripping on stuff like that to my parents. They're like, why is this guy getting stuff sent to him about his FICO score and shit like that? So, I mean, I was just already. And then, I mean, fast forward like to 15, I'm already at the Cadillac dealership. Like, I'm going to buy this shit the second I turn 16. But I I'd buy a small amount, break it down until I built myself up. By the time I was 16, I'm handling pounds. My brother was, almost 2 years older. So all the older crowd was who I fucked with. That's who I ran with. And they all just bought shit off me. I was just more structured. I was more disciplined. I had more of a vision. My vision was I gotta have the stuff I didn't have. I gotta have money because I grew up and money was our only visible issue.
Wes Watson really sat there and looked that man right in the eyes and lied through his teeth. 13 years old and a credit score, and he's making all his money, and he's the shot caller even as a teenager, and he's just stacking the cash. Like, what? Does this guy have like a narco fantasy or something? Like, you really think we're gonna believe that BS? I mean, there's not a single true word this man has said in the past 5 to 6 minutes.
We had love, we had a family, we had everything. Like, we just were lower middle class. So money was just the only thing I saw as the problem.
So you think that was the motivator since that's the problem that we have. We have love, we have a house, 2 parents, but there's always a lack of money. We're always probably running out of money before we run out of month, right?
Always.
And so you decide that that's the one thing I'm gonna chase.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm gonna change. I'm gonna make it better. I can. I've always been a problem solver. I still am till this day. And for some reason, I'll never sit there and dwell on the problem. I'm just going straight to the solution. And that's where everyone's missing it. I mean, they spend too much time in that negative state, looking at the problem in a negative way, instead of just fucking seeing all the ways it's gonna work out. And I always just saw the ways it's gonna work out. And it was never doing too many things at once. It was like, let's just get this money first. So let's just get this money first. And I had all the wrong agendas, the wrong ways of getting it, and it was just get money at all costs. So then just over time, that obviously that lust for money, that absolute power corrupts absolutely is the truest thing. So me at a young age, driving an Escalade to high school, I mean, by the time I was 18, I was in the new Range Rover. I mean, I always pulled up to Big Bear where I snowboarded in the newest shit. Like, I just validated myself through that money. So therefore, my belief is that what we validate ourselves within our heart is who we draw around us. So I drew horrible people around me who were
Cornball Wes Watson. Oh, you just showed how much of an idiot you are. See, Wes Watson's the type of guy just to read the title of a book and then be like, I learned all of that just by looking at the book. So the whole quote is, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. This moron thinks that he was this massive government, some massive government person, because that's what the quote actually means. Absolute power that's too concentrated. No, all Wes Watson ever had was a small menial type of power. He never had any absolute power. He never had real influence like huge government leaders. What a cornball. And I think it's hilarious though, because Wes Watson is all like, oh, I just really wanted that fast, easy money. Nothing has changed with this guy other than the fact that he got more bald as time went on.
Just about the money, about nothing more. So then I just had this fucked up group of people around me, and then I had my fucked up vision. I was actually creating this fucked up group of people around me.
Did you realize it then?
I didn't realize it till about 5-6 years ago, that our true heart's validation of self, what we validate ourselves with in our heart truly, is what we teach our people to validate us through. So even the father who is successful and tries to teach his son good principles, if in his heart he's speaking to his son heart to heart that money is everything, he is going to create a fucking spoiled little brat.
Wes Watson really almost got lost in his thoughts right there. His brain was really struggling to get that one out. He thought he was getting real deep with that, but dude's a moron. But Wes Watson, he said something really interesting that I noticed. So he's trying to blame his parents' upbringing, that money was the only thing that was ever to be valued, on why his behavior was the way it was. So he talks about how that's in the past, right? It's in the past and he's a different person now, and that's how he changed his life. But he's really not any different at all. He's still a spoiled little princess brat. If you look at the photo right now, is that somebody who isn't materialistic, who everything in the world has to be catered to them? No, this guy's totally the same. So that podcast actually goes on for over an hour of Wes Watson rambling. If you want to see the rest of it, then be sure to let me know. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. I really, really appreciate the support. If you came this far, consider dropping a like. I really, really appreciate it. I mean, this community is growing. So awesome to be able to provide you guys content that you enjoy here at the Bubba community. So if you subscribe, then let me know. Say, join the Bubba community, because man, I'm having an awesome time. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.